So the next responsibility I'm going to be talking about is within the elite sporting field, which is health and safety. So for this, I've chosen the coach of Gareth Southgate. So he will take into consideration the health and safety of others during his coaching. So he'll know that all sports carry a risk of injury. So to prevent and reduce the likelihood of injury, he will carry out risk assessments, ensure that the performers have done the correct warm-ups, stretching, and have gone through the correct procedures to prevent them from getting injured. There are two main types of risk factors which can cause injury. These are extrinsic and intrinsic factors. So extrinsic is something outside of the body that may cause injury. So for example, this could be an unsafe playing surface. So if the England football team are training on an AstroTurf, something might be on there which could be deemed to be unsafe, which could cause an injury. Or even some goals that have been left out, which are on the side of the pitch, which a player could potentially slide into or collide with, which could cause injury. But because Gareth would have done a risk assessment, this is likely not to happen. Intrinsic is a physical aspect of the body that may cause injury. So again, to stop this from happening, or to reduce the risk of it happening, would be to do the correct stretches, warm-ups, cool-downs after every training session to help the players not become injured. So some more factors of health and safety is different things which can actually cause injuries. So the first one is overuse. So if a football team and Gareth Southgate is coaching them, if they're being worked too hard or their same body part is being worked a lot of the time, then it can lead to overuse, which can cause injury. Inappropriate clothing, so the coach will ensure that all players have the correct appropriate clothing on, which they'll need in order to play sport. The weather conditions, so for instance, if it had been cold outside and the pitch on the AstroTurf may have frozen over, then the risk assessment will show that they cannot do training that day on the AstroTurf, as it would be unsafe and could cause injury. Muscle imbalance, poor technique. So the poor technique would be corrected by the coach and the coaching staff to ensure that none of the players become injured from using the wrong technique and have the incorrect form. Poor posture, which can be worked on with the backroom staff and the different doctors at the club within elite sport. Age as well. So this is usually down to the player when they wish to retire within elite sport, because as they become older, they're likely to put more pressure on their joints and pick up more injuries from it. Poor equipment is another one why people can become injured. So assessments will show whether the equipment is deemed to be safe or unsafe, and whether the football team can actually use it properly. Now, health and safety is important in elite sport and non-elite sport, because if any of the factors were to happen in non-elite sport, the coach would still be deemed liable for it. So they will both, in non-elite and elite, will carry out risk assessments in order to prove whether or not their equipment, the facilities, and whether the players are actually going to be safe when performing in a team which is run by them. So the last responsibility I'm going to be talking about is professional conduct within elite sport. So for this I've chosen Eddie Jones. So as a coach, his conduct and behaviour will determine the current and future experiences of his athletes. So there is different behaviour in which he will employ in order to get the very best out of his team. So professional conduct, so Eddie Jones will have good knowledge and experience of what he is coaching. He will have good qualifications, which he needs to coach his team. He will look professional at all times. He will be an effective communicator. He will respect all abilities. He will respect and support the officials. This is good because if he respects and supports the officials, then his players are likely to take after him and do the same. He will promote fair play and honesty, and he will also reward effort. As again, similar to health and safety, professional conduct is also important in non-elite sport because this links to the role model role, which I spoke about earlier, as in the players and performers are likely to take after their coaches if they're acting the correct way, as if they were to correct in the wrong way, then they're likely to do the same, which could result in them getting sent off and getting in trouble with the governing body for the sport. So next, I'm going to be talking about skills of a coach. I'm going to be talking about management, communication, and teaching. So firstly, management. So the key ways to demonstrate good leadership in coaching are checking that participants are well prepared and organised, checking that participants and appropriate others are well deployed, safe management and coordination of equipment and facilities, safe and well delivered sessions, maintaining support and guidance to participants, establishing and maintaining effective communication with appropriate others within the coaching environment. It's important that coaches motivate participants by ensuring that they remain interested and challenged. Coaches will also get the best from their sport if they are self-motivated and work in an atmosphere that allows them to enjoy their coaching session, share their experiences with others like with peers or friends, competing in a safe and non-threatening